Welcome to Guests and Gusto. This is SCAD's virtual series of conversations and digital content with the creators and the innovators remaking culture. I'm Kent Knowles. I'm professor of painting at SCAD Atlanta. I'm also a proud SCAD alum. And of course, we have Professor Carl Lindstrom here joining us, which many of you are already very familiar with. I'm happy to welcome you to this evening's opening reception for SCAD's annual Friends of Gene exhibition, honoring the memory of great Atlanta artist, Gene Alcott. This annual exhibition is comprised of Gene Alcott Scholarship winners, top fine arts and photography students, New York City field trip participants, and Alcott family members and friends. All of this made possible through Gene Alcott Scholarship funding and SCAD. This evening, we'll have the opportunity to hear from this year's featured artists. We're going to learn about their creative practices, and we'll close with an awards ceremony. But I know we have some more introductions to come, so I will hand it over to Carl.
Oh, thanks, Kent. So yeah, guys, so you were kind of hearing the banter go back and forth here at the beginning of the session. I also want to welcome everyone, all of the featured artists, the current Alcott scholars and alums that are here today with us, and all of the guests as well. I thank everybody for taking the time to be here to celebrate these incredible students and the amazing work that you're going to see from them this evening. So. So as Kent mentioned, I've been involved on this more on the trip side. So I'll be talking a little bit about that. But the trip gave me the opportunity to meet the wonderful family of Gene Alcott, who have been there since 1997 to support the young artists and young students with scholarships, with the trip, with a lifetime of support and encouragement to continue their professional practice as creatives. And here today in this session, we're really, really fortunate to have several of them with us. So we have Eleanor Griffith, who is Gene's sister. So Eleanor, do you want to say hi to everybody?
Hello, everybody. This is such a treat to be together, connecting virtually. We love these trips to New York, and this is the next best thing. So we're delighted you're doing it.
And is Kathleen there with you? Is she?
Kathleen is going to shoot in a little bit later. So
okay, all right.
We'll see her at that point.
And we also have Gene's sister Liz. So Liz, say hi to everybody.
Hi, folks, and I see that picture of laughter, Gene laughing, and I still hear that in my ear. It's just, he's got to laugh. Yeah, he's got to laugh. Yeah.
I just love that in almost every single picture, he's either smiling or the expression is one of trying to hold the smile back. That's a joyful individual for sure.
Yep.
John, how are you?
Good, Carl. Hello, team.
Oh.
Hey.
Welcome. Hello, Fog. Good to see you.
So everybody, we also have here who I'm meeting in person for the first time after years of email exchanges, Brother John. So John Alcott has joined us here as well briefly.
And what I want to show you all, if you all can see in my background, these are early Gene paintings, and these were rescued. These were rescued from an alley in somewhere in Florida, and this woman found these paintings, and she said, "You know, I'll bet these belong to somebody that might be of interest." And she pursued it, and she talked to Sister Eleanor, because Gene had put his autograph there, and went to the website and eventually got to me, and I was able to snag those paintings and have them sent here to me. And in exchange, I was able to give a few dollars to the school that this woman's kids were going to so that they could learn to do silk screening. How about that? Great story.
Amazing.
Loved silk screening, yes.
Yeah,
Carl,
and
can people see those paintings? I'm just seeing the screen with the slides on it, Friends of Jean.
you have to kind of go off to the side.
Okay.
If you're in gallery view, you should be able to see John's screen, and he's kind of holding
Good.
his
I
webcam.
just wanted to be certain that people could see that.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. If you scroll through, you can see it.
Great.
John, those are absolutely wonderful, and I think too. And actually, Matt, if you want to, and I want to be very sensitive to the family's time, because I know John especially is popping in between the patients that he's seeing. So, Dr. John, thank you so much for being able to break away. I hope it's not to anybody's detriment. So,
good job.
But I did want to take a moment to just do a little shout out to the Jean Alcott website. The family, and Eleanor especially, has been deeply involved in for years, and I think John's story here giving us a great segue that, and the more people know about Jean, and the more people know about Jean's work and his legacy, this is a way that those kind of connections can be made. So, Matt, would you mind if I do a screen share here and share the website? Okay. So, and it's just a glorious thing. It's so well done, and it's such an incredible document, not just of Jean himself. So seeing these wonderful pictures here, I think you get the hang of this guy's personality here from the very first thing that you see, and then you get to see his wonderful paintings, and it really I think reinforces the force that he was. So here, seeing the young Jean next to the painting of the Bat Boy, which I actually have a copy of this in my office at SCAD, which, Eleanor, I'm actually back in my office 2 days a week now. I get to visit Bat Boy. It makes me so happy.
Fabulous. That's great.
But the website, I won't spend too much time going through all of it, but it really does just have some wonderful background on Jean, on his work, and also all the different elements that have connected it to our students, and from the scholarships all the way through. Some of these might look familiar to you guys if you've walked around the buildings. But just to kind of come down here, where is it? So down here to the legacy section, being able to get more information about the Jean Alcott Scholars. So there's a scholarship that is available to students, and there's wonderful testimonials here. And it's like I was looking through this, and Ethan was a student of mine in a painting class. Carlos was a student of mine in a drawing class. That being able to see and read the names. Annie Wood was a student of mine. So these people who I know personally, whose lives have been touched by the work that these different things have and benefits that these students have had. So, and as I mentioned, the trip itself has been around since 1997. I have been the faculty advisor, the faculty chaperone, for lack of a better word, for the past 4 years. Professor Larry Anderson, shown here on the left, was the longstanding. Larry taught Jean and was a champion of all of this programming for gosh, almost 2 decades. So just a core part of all of this.
Can I shout out for just a minute?
Oh, please do, Eleanor.
Larry putting, there's a Jean Alcott on display at MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art. And so we were just having a lot of fun So we can tell people that, you know, oh yeah, Jean's up in in MoMA in New York City. You know, people go, really?
Yeah.
Really?
And I think Larry is a prankster, and
Yes.
stories of Jean, a prankster. So it's like a match made in heaven. It's brilliant. So this just really shows some images from the trip, and just so everybody kind of knows, this is a trip where the heads of each of the School of Fine Arts, so the chairs of photography and printmaking and sculpture and painting, would hand select these students to receive this trip as an award. And it was spring break, 3 to 4 days, every single year for many, many years. So we would take the students up for a gallery and museum intensive. So we would visit, I think it was 7 galleries or 7 museums in 3 days, gallery openings, a dinner hosted by the family, just an absolutely incredible experience. And students have moved to New York on more than one occasion because of this trip, and have continued to reach out to the family and gained a benefit through networking, support, questions asked and answered, just every possible way, just pretty amazing. So this just on the website just gives us a little kind of glimpse into
You do
this.
have a student who's going to be exhibited in Chelsea coming up too, who was part of the trip.
Salinas, yes. So Salinas Aragon, who was one of the 2019 trippers. I think this is Salinas right here. So yeah, I think the exhibition is up now, currently in Chelsea, and she actually was accepted into 2 and had to select between them to have her work shown. So really a huge thing that she says never would have happened. And she wouldn't have had the confidence to do it without taking this trip first. So by all accounts, life-changing. And the last thing, just a little preview here, because I know SCAD Art Sales wants to talk about their component of supporting the students' work. But Kent shortly will be telling you guys about the Friends of Jean exhibit, which always followed the trip and gave the students the opportunity to have their works shown here in Atlanta and promoted. And as you can see here, people really are out there to view the work and support the work. And we even have another Jean button here with Patty showing the love here from 2017. So I let that just put a big smile on my face when I saw that. And that exhibit at Beshrat was amazing. So anyway, so that's the website, and it is just www.jeanalcott.com, and that's Alcott with 2 L's and 2 T's. So I do hope that if everybody is enjoying the things that they're seeing today and hearing today, that they invest some time. And you can actually be a donor to the scholarships also. We actually, at the last minute today, just one last little shout out, then Rachel, I'm gonna hand it over to you guys. We had an anonymous donor who donated $500 towards the Friends of Jean fund for SCAD Atlanta today. So big round of applause for the anonymous donor who just, the hearts are big, people. I mean, these students, you'll hear from them, I'm sure, when they're talking, what a difference this kind of thing makes to them. So, and students, I want you to know, I actually, when I found out about that today, I wrote a letter to that donor, a short note just saying, I don't know if you even understand what this means, but it's just it's heartwarming and just a completely amazing thing. So anyway, I'm running on and on and on here. So, and I'd love to hand it back over, or actually Rachel, to you and Victoria to talk about SCAD Art Sales, and then Kent to you for the exhibition.
Sure.
Great, thank you, Carl. I have enjoyed attending Friends of Jean in-person receptions over the years during my 10 years at SCAD. And this year, we're excited at Scout Art Sales to be able to host the exhibit online, since that's not possible to gather together like we would love to be doing. So I was just going to share my screen and show you what the exhibit looks like online. So I'll do that now. So just a quick overview for those of you that don't know, Scout Art Sales is SCAD's in-house art consultancy that helps promote the artwork of current students, alumni, faculty, and staff. We host 2 huge open studio events a year. Used to be on ground in Atlanta and Savannah, and this year we've done 2 online, or in 2020 we did 2 online. And we also have this website where you can always see work by SCAD artists available for purchase to support their art careers. And we also host exhibits. So our featured exhibition this month, of course, is the Friends of Jean exhibition, which if you go to scoutartsales.com, it's right there on the homepage and viewable. And all of the work that was curated this year can be seen here and is available for purchase, like I said before, to support those artists. So we at Scout Art Sales are always working to connect the fine artists exhibiting with clients. And in fact, one piece did sell today. So Emma, your work already sold. So we're thrilled about that. And we're hoping that it's a completely sellout of a show. So hopefully it will, but the work is really beautiful. Congratulations everyone. And we'll continue to promote the exhibit. But please, if folks want to see the work, send them to scoutartsales.com so that they can view and enjoy the artwork by the artists. Any questions?
Does all the money go to the student artist or the alum, or how does that work?
That's a great question. So it does most of it, but there is a percentage that is retained by Scout Art Sales to pay for what we do. Got it.
Yeah, but the percentage is far less than a typical gallery split. So they're very generous for and very respectful of the students getting a majority.
That's lovely.
Well, thank you. And if you all have any questions, go to the site. It's extremely user friendly. We have some amazing artists in the stable, and of course these featured exhibitions. You'll definitely want to give your attention to. So can they just email you directly, Rachel, or just go to the site and go to the contact
Absolutely.
page?
You can go to the site or SCADArt at scad.edu, and that's how you get to us.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the exhibition itself. But before I do that, I did notice that we have Marcia Cohen in the house, and Marcia is a beloved faculty emeritus, and she wanted to take a moment to share with you a little bit about her history with Jean, and I'm sure you will enjoy what she has to say. So Marcia, before I get into that, I'd like to hand the floor over to you.
Okay, can you hear me okay? Are we all, oops, here we go, a little bit more. I just wanted to say hi to the family and the Jean Trippers, because this has been a remarkable opportunity for students. And I had Jean as a young painting student. We were both young at one time, actually. And I was a newer professor at that time. And of course, Jean was larger than life. And to kind of think about him, I'm looking at these pictures of him, and he looks like today. I kind of struck at how the work looks fresher, more consistent with some of the type of imagery going on. And he was a very visionary person. And I like the fact that SCAD students can participate in that kind of long view, the vision that you can all share as being a part of the Jean Alcott experience. So thanks to the family. And I always feel great that I can circle back here and still show up and be part of the Jean Alcott magic. It's great to see everybody.
Thank you.
Well, it's great to see you too, Marcia. Thank you. Well, the Friends of Jean, or FOG, as it is belovedly called, has been an exhibition that we've been holding in Atlanta for quite a while now. We have a great mix of people. We, of course, have the Jean Alcott scholarship winners. We have, of course, the top fine arts students. We have all of the New York City field trip participants, also made possible through the Alcott scholarship funding. We've got, of course, the Alcott family members and all of the Friends of Jean. And the Friends of Jean pool seems to grow more and more each year as we celebrate the creative legacy of Jean. So one of the more fun parts about the show, it is a judged show. So the collection of work you're going to see, there was judging involved. And of course, there are monetary prizes awarded. And so what I'd like to do, and you're seeing some shots here now of past exhibitions, what I'd like to do, and me and Carl are going to kind of jump back and forth here, but as we see your artists and your work come up, we'd love for all of you artists to spend just a few minutes kind of talking about your work, and maybe if you have a story to share, or if you have any updates on what you're doing now, I'm sure we'd love to hear them. We are here to celebrate, of course, all of you and Jean's legacy, but we do want to keep it on a timeline as well. So so please, if you will, just jump in there and kind of talk about what you got cooking. So the first up is Brooklyn Etzel. How you doing, Brooklyn?
Hello, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
We're doing great. So now is this time you can just kind of tell us anything you want to about yourself. You have this beautiful piece in the show right now, and I'd love to hear more about it.
Yes, thank you. Well, first of all, I would like to thank you so much for this opportunity for us artists to share our creations. This is so wonderful. And thank you everyone who is here on the call for your support. It means the world. For sure. But yeah, so my name is Brooklyn, and I'm a photographer. And this piece on the screen is titled Oneself, and it is from my series entitled Dimensions of the Self. So 2 years ago, I was living in Hong Kong, and at the time, I was coming of age and exploring my own ego and consciousness. I was taking a black and white film course, and I wanted to kind of see if I could explore this concept visually through some experimental in-camera double exposures. So several of my friends modeled for me, and we took various just different overlapping compositions and kind of chose the best ones from there. But as a whole, the series tries to explore the struggles and the joys within the different dimensions of the self, whether that be ego and consciousness, or if we want to call it self-identity and awareness. And kind of through my explorations, I realized that, I am not my identity that I choose to be associated with, whether that be my role in society, my nationality, my life story, but rather I'm actually the awareness of those different thoughts. And I kind of noticed that my ego can influence and kind of get in the way of various expectations or judgments, whether that be just of myself or of others influencing. And yeah, ultimately the ego just distracted me from my inner peace and my present moment. So I find it very essential to stay connected to oneself, again, going back to the title of the piece displayed today, and to be in the present moment is really important. But yeah, so I'm just understanding the difference between self-identity and self-awareness it really transformed my reality. But yeah, so as you can see here, this is a contact sheet of my one model, my one friend. And so yeah, some of them are completely by chance. Some of them didn't work out at all. Others came out perfect. So that's kind of the beautifulness of double exposures in camera. Don't know what's going on until you photograph it. Oh yes, and then at the end, so like I said, I took this course in Hong Kong at the campus there with Professor Michael Rush, and he had a friend who had a stall, and so we borrowed it for an evening, and we got to display some of our work out on the street, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Brooklyn. I appreciate you sharing that. Carl?
Sure. Brooklyn, I think an important thing to note here with your work is that's all gelatin silver traditional film camera work. So many working digitally that That for me is, I'm totally old school with that. I do digital work too, but I developed my first roll of film when I was, I think, 11. So,
Wow.
so I'm totally into your camera tricks and traditional media. So yeah, Kent. So Alexander, where are you? I saw you. Where are you now?
Hello,
there
hello.
he is. What is that behind your head?
Oh, just a large collection of work. This is a Carter Flackbarth. He's a current.
Well, I thought that looked like Carter's work. So yeah,
a past like Elcott winner.
It's like he's there with you.
Yeah, there he is.
So everyone, this is Alexander Hawkins. He's you've not yet graduated, right? Are you up in May?
I'll be graduating in May, yes.
Yeah, awesome. So so a near graduate with a sculpture BFA, but don't let that sculpture tag fool you. Alexander, as much as I know about his work, you know, that's like, you know, saying that a human only stands. That you know, Alexander has his hand in many little pies, and yeah, you're like me, short attention span theater.
Definitely, yes.
So yeah, multimedia artist. Yeah. So yeah, Alexander, can you tell us a little bit about your work? And I know you're pretty conceptually driven too. So
yeah, again, so my name's Alexander Hawkins. I'm from Toronto, Canada, and I'm currently residing in Atlanta, Georgia. Like Mr. Lindstrom said, I am a sculpture major, but I don't use the tag as a sculpture artist. I tend to work in many different mediums, from painting, photography, installation art, performance, and recently curatorial realm as well. I host a student artist talk at SCAD that happens about twice a year, on top of doing a bunch of curatorial programs both inside and outside of SCAD at the ACA library. This piece that we're looking at today was a mixed media collage and painting that I made as classwork. It's about 11.5 feet long and roughly 6 feet tall. It stands in 3 separate sections, kind of as a triptych, and it's read from left to right. So what I'm exploring here is this idea of verbal language being changed into kind of a visual language through an algorithm that reads lips to discern language. So what happens is the algorithm acknowledges the mouth, sees what it's doing, the lip movements, the tongue movements, and if there's a section of it that it doesn't understand, it highlights it red. And I thought that was a really interesting way to kind of discern what it was and wasn't picking up, and I thought it would look beautiful as a painting. So I decided to do this kind of curved canvas painting in 3 parts, and I've elaborated on it since, and I've made a couple more and made a small series out of them, and I'm very happy with what they've done. And once I'm done with the painting, I cover them in a very, very thin coat of resin, so they have a nice glare to them. Thankfully, in this photo, you don't see a nice flash in the back, but in person, they have a lot of texture to them because of the process, and they kind of have a life of their own and a skin of their own. It's something that I really wanted to capture using the human figure. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't just a flat read, and that the paper macheing process kind of gave it a life and a texture. And yeah, this is my piece, Unruly Conversation. And again, thanks so much to all the students, alumni, faculty, and past faculty. Marcia Cohen, I haven't seen you in a minute. Very lovely to have you all here. Thanks so much.
I'm so happy to see you, Alex. Yeah. So happy to see you. Awesome work.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Marcia, do you see what you've done?
All right. Well, thank you, Alexander. And I know you've got some things cooking even for next quarter as far as curation and exhibitions. So
some exhibitions coming up. I'll announce them. Email later this year. Be ready.
Awesome. So glad to hear it. Well, next up we have BFA painting and minor in art history. I guess I knew that. Sammy Jack. Sammy, what have you got cooking?
So hi, I'm Sammy. And first off, I'm super thankful to be here. Super thankful for the family of Jean Alcott for offering this wonderful scholarship. And thank you to all of the faculty here for hosting this event. My piece that is in the show is titled Chlorine Carnation, and it is an oil painting. And I love oil painting. It is the love of my life, and I love painting flowers. And for this flower in particular, I wanted to just experiment some with color and kind of up it in terms of psychedelic color spectrum and just experiment with it. I found it really fun to paint. I'm extremely interested in art history. As Professor Knowles said, I'm minoring in art history. So the way that flowers have been painted and their symbolism in art history is really inspiring to me. So every single flower that I paint has some sort of symbolic meaning or personal attachment. And that's why I love painting flowers. I'm particularly interested in the veins and all of the extremely beautiful detail that is in every single petal, and I want to get that across in my paintings. So yeah, that's me and my work.
Thank you so much, Sammy. And you range in scale too. So sometimes, we'll walk up and there'll be, how big have you gone? Like 4 foot, 5 foot? How big have you gone?
The biggest I've done is 50 by 50.
Ooh. All right. Well, I remember, and this can be said about many of you, but at the open studio nights, it's always great to see the crowds and people kind of coming and enjoying the work. And I remember fondly, there was like a large group always hovering around Sammy's work, among others. So congratulations, Sammy. Excellent work. All right.
All right. And as Tate, before I hearing all about your work here, Sammy, I've got a quick question for you. Just related to botanicals and even recent art history. Are you familiar with the photography work of Steve Eichmann, who used to be the chair of photography at SCAD Atlanta?
I'm not.
He had a whole body of work that was modeled after the kind of Dutch masters botanicals.
Yes, my favorite.
But what he did is he actually grafted flowers. So they were live plants where he grafted one flower type onto another flower type and grew bouquets of scientifically altered living plants, and then photographed them in the manner of the Dutch masters. And conceptually, they're incredible. Visually, they're amazing. It's A-I-S-H-M, I think it's M-A-N, Steve Eichmann. You should take a look. It's pretty amazing work.
Thank you so much.
Sure. Tate!
How's it going, Lindstrom?
Oh, Lindstrom. Oh, Martinson. So everybody, this is Tate Martinson, an incredibly talented photographer, also soon to graduate here, and just all around good guy. So, as a student, did awesome work for me. Stayed in touch, continued to do fantastic work. So I'm just really excited to hear what you have to say today.
All right, well, thank you for being here. And I just want to thank everyone who made this happen as well, because like Carl Lindstrom said in the very beginning, like this is very important to all of us, and we just really appreciate it. So this is my work that was put into the show. It's called I Love You and Goodbye. And I am a conceptual-based photographer. I work a lot based on my own experiences and feelings and that type of thing. And this image is actually very important to me as it relates to a sub-series that I created called Details from My Life, which goes over all the really small, finite details that are important to me, but not a lot of other people would fully understand. And this one is of a Christmas tree. And so the way that kind of relates into my life is when I was 5 years old, my father had passed away from an extremely rare form of cancer called desmoplastic small round cell tumor. And he passed away on December 25th, 2003, Christmas Day. And it just makes Christmas a very, I don't want to necessarily say difficult time for my family, but it's just, it's a time. You know, there's always that push to make it like happy, but there's always just like that over looming sadness in it at the same time. And that's why I created this image right here, was to reflect that symbolism that happens within my family. It's that Christmas tree, it's joyful, it's glad, but there's also just a sense of obscurity behind it. And so with this series, this was building up to my overall concept that I was doing for grad school, actually. I had created my final portfolio that I titled Unshakable Faith, which was my dad's saying the entire time that he was sick. And it goes over all the different ways that I continue to see my father in my life today. And so it has images like this Christmas tree here. It has me and my sister in it. It different memories that I reflect on and continue to see my father in my life. And that's where this came from. It came from that reflection on looking into myself and where I see him in my life today. So, yeah.
Well, Tate, thank you. That's for sharing that powerful story, and having somebody who's also lost parents to use that as a creative motivator and have it be something that you work through in the way that you're working through it, but also in a way you're carrying your father forward. You're making him part of a larger dialogue of art that exists in the world. So I mean, I can't imagine a better way to honor somebody who's so important to you. So really, really fantastic. You don't disappoint.
Thank you.
Oh, sweet.
And next up, we have Jasmine Owens, BFA in photography and a minor in graphic design. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Jasmine, and we'll take a look at what you have in the show.
Hi, by the way, I'm Jasmine. Thanks for coming and thanks for hosting us. This is very important to us. So first off, I'd like to say I'm always in my car. Anyone who knows me well knows I'm always in my car. I'm always going somewhere, coming back from somewhere. Sometimes I do homework in my car. It's just how it is. So when COVID happened and school shut down, everything shut down, I was like, well, what do I do now? So I ended up driving in my car one day, and I feel like one of the things I noticed that was different than like before was all these like empty parking lots, and that intrigued me. And a few years ago, I had bought a drone, so I was like, hey, I just wonder what they look like from above. So that's how the series got started. And then like as I shot more and more, I decided to like switch it up from just like normal like wide angle shots to circular panoramas. So I ended up finding a really large parking lot surrounded by other really large parking lots that were all empty, and just shot enough shots to make circular panoramas, stitched it together, and this is what happened.
It's lovely. Photography is such a mystery to me that I always wonder, how much are we seeing in camera and what goes into the creation of it. So could you, take us a little bit through that and how you kind of piece this together?
All right. So when I took all the photos, I started at 100 feet, which is what the rest of the series was shot at. And then I moved up, I want to say like 15 feet every shot. And then from this, I moved back to the center point and then shot to the left and right of that, moved back to the top, shot to the left and right of that, and then moved back to like the 100 feet and shot to like the left and right of that. So I had a total of 9 images to stitch together.
Okay. And how unruly can the drone be? Easy to control, or is it a challenge?
Depends on the situation. If it's really windy, I have to fight it.
Ah, gotcha. Well, thank you very much, Jasmine. I remember I've seen a few of these, and I really think this is a beautiful piece.
Thank you.
Jasmine, I just have one question for you.
Go for it.
Do your headphones have ears?
Yeah, they have little cat ears.
That is so fantastic. You win.
Thank you.
It just absolutely beautiful image here. This is incredible, real smart, incredibly well crafted. I've never seen anything like it. So finding your own niche in something with the long, decades long dialogue of, they say painting is dead, but photography is everywhere in everyone's hand with their iPhone, and and it's even more pervasive now. So to be able to find that unique voice in this is saying something. So really, really fantastic.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So who do we have next? We have Just Call Me Willis. Oh, I love these photographs. And
hey, Carl, how's it going?
It's going good. Just Call Me Willis. How are you?
I'm all right, man. I'm just chilling.
Tell us about it.
Right now. I'm at work right now, so y'all have to excuse me. The body of work that you see is called Cracking COVID. Essentially, this summer, I followed around drug dealers during the beginning of COVID because, I mean, they make money too. And it was just interesting to see, like, because of COVID, nobody was going outside, so nobody was buying drugs. So it was just kind of like this, you had this environment where these people who make $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a day are making like $40, $50, $60 a day. And I just kind of wanted to document it over the summer. And so I went about it. And this work actually got recognized by Mother Jones Magazine, and the editor of Mother Jones Magazine reached out to me, and they published some of these images in I want to say the September or August issue of Mother Jones. So it was well received publicly.
Yeah, the images are just incredible. I remember Sandra Phillips shared the Mother Jones article where I was able to see like a full survey of these images, and not only are the aesthetics and the craft of them just beyond professional level, but the story that you're telling that very few people really get to see is incredible. And I was really amazed by your facility of moving so easily between the black and white work and the color work too. It all carried for me really equal visual power. So it's really, really something else. Do you have any plans to continue to try to get these images published in other publications? Are you doing more reach out?
I've been trying for a couple other magazines, but I was recently picked up by a gallery, Spalding Nix in Buckhead. So he's selling some of my work there.
Congratulations.
The city of Atlanta bought a picture from me to hang up in the new library that they're building. So, I mean, 2020 has been kind of bad because of COVID, but it's been pretty good for me. So like, I'm not really complaining.
That's fantastic. Spalding is a wonderful person. You're in good hands. And did the city of Atlanta, was that through the Fulton County Arts Council?
That was through the Fulton County Arts Council.
Congratulations. That's very competitive. So that's another really wonderful achievement. So excellent work.
Thank you.
Just Call Me Willis. I hate to ask the obvious, but how responsive were the subjects in this photo shoot? I mean, were they standoffish? Because I know there was some identities revealed or at least unabashedly shown. Was that an issue at all when you were creating them?
No, they don't really care. I mean, they already been arrested for drugs, so I mean, it's kind of like I really can't explain it. It's like their profession, you know. So I mean, it's no secret that they sell drugs. They don't try and hide it, with the exception of maybe like one person. And then, you know, like I do my photography at strip clubs in the city or whatnot. So a lot of people who sell drugs, it's really weird. It's weird talking about this, but like people who sell drugs like to go to strip clubs to like blow off steam. So because the strip clubs kind of hire me to take pictures of the dancers, they see me like at the strip clubs and I'm like, oh yeah, that's where that be in the club. And I'm like, okay, what's up? You know, I told them like what I wanted to do. And they were like, oh yeah, sure, come through the block and hang out with us. So I would just like sit on the block with them like all day long and take pictures and stuff like that.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing. All right, so with the FOG exhibition, we not only have the current trippers, but we also like to honor alums, so people that have been on the New York trip or been associated with this honor in the past. So let's take a look at some alums. I think first, congratulations, Emma, by the way, on that news. That is excellent news. You have some work in the show as well. And why don't you tell us a little bit about what we're seeing with Green Situation?
Yeah, so I graduated in 2015 with a printmaking major and a book arts minor. The book art side comes out more in this. There's no printmaking in this piece. But first, I wanted to say thank you to the organizers of this event. I'm very honored to be chosen, and it's been a reminder of this community and that it exists beyond the year that I received the scholarship. And the New York City trip was just such a highlight, so thank you. But this piece, Green Situation, kind of has a funny origin story. And it's a long story, but I'll make it short. Back in last March 2020, I was asked to create a new piece for an exhibition, but everyone knows what happened, and the deadline got pushed back and back and back. And next thing you know, I was asked to give the title and dimensions for a piece that I forgot I even needed to make. So out of desperation, I came up with the title Green Situation and thought I'd figure it out from there. I do love the color green, and I think maybe it's a printmaker thing, but I hoard all bits of paper scraps and ink from projects 2 years ago. And so I had a lot of fodder to support a green piece. And so I went monochrome. And I was thinking about this title that I had to work towards and thinking about the word green and the associations to that word. And I was flipping through old sketchbooks, and I came across a sketch that I actually did in 2015 when I was moving from Atlanta after graduation to the Hudson Valley in New York for my internship. And I landed on this sketch that I really, really liked, but hadn't made it outside of my sketchbook. And when I think back to that time, I think of being like young and unknowing, and it was definitely a transitional part of my life. And so a trace of that sketch made it to the left-hand side of this piece. On the right-hand side, the phrase "bliss is over," it comes from more of in the moment of making this piece. I was sitting with a lot of strong emotions coming from my personal life and from the news and current events. And I came to the realization that floating through life like unbothered and uninformed and green just wasn't going to cut it anymore for myself. And so writing this phrase down became a promise to myself to be better and more informed for myself and for others. And that's how this piece came to be.
Emma, it's such a wonderful piece, and it's such a great story to hear to kind of back it up. And did you, when you were at SCAD for undergrad, did you ever work with Brett Calero?
I don't believe so.
You should take a look at his work. He's an incredible mixed media painter. It's something that might resonate for you just at being somewhat of a process artist. He has, you know, those Rubbermaid containers that are about the size of a coffin that have wheels on them?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen those?
Yeah.
Yeah. He has one in his studio that he calls the bin of randomness. That's filled with his drawings and you know, notes, pieces of napkins, you know, concert tickets, posters. He's a big music lover. So so the thing weighs about 400 pounds, and but every time he's starting a new body of work, he'll go into the bin of randomness and just start assembling things on the floor. And that's how he arrives at his compositions, and he'll photograph them, manipulate them, print them to canvas, and then continue to paint on them and collage on them. So it's this interesting kind of movement, kind of fluid through, you know, some traditional process and more contemporary digital process. And the finished piece, you have trouble really even kind of figuring out what's digital and what's not digital, and they really kind of trick you. So you should look it up. It's I think it's Callerro. It might just be one L in there, but he's got a great website with lots of images to see. So just wonderful. Kennedy!
Hello.
Where? Oh, there you are.
Yes.
How are you, lovely?
I'm doing great. I'm very happy to be here tonight. I actually got to leave work a little bit early so I could come talk to you all.
Glad we could help you with that.
Yes.
Everybody,
right.
Kennedy is a previous Alcott tripper from 2019, and unforgettable bulldog pictures from what I recall in front of the Met. And here you are today. Absolutely beautiful photo here. So tell us all about it.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for that introduction, Carl. I appreciate it. I am gonna introduce myself as well. So my name is Kennedy Hodges. I earned my BFA at SCAD in photography with a concentration in fine art, and I did graduate last year in spring of 2020. So right as the pandemic began. Again, I received the Alcott Fellowship, and I was flued out to New York in 2019, kind of like at the perfect time. So I'm very thankful for that. I did want to thank the Alcott family for the opportunity, and also my SCAD professors, specifically in the photography department. Elizabeth, Michael, Sue Ellen, Forrest, and Sandy, thank you guys so much. Kisses to you guys as always. But yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity. And, I'm very happy to say that it has affected my process to this day. So yeah, I'm going to tell you about the kind of build up to this body of work. So spring quarter, all classes were moved online to a digital format. Everybody was kind of figuring everything out, and I got super discouraged in my personal process. And I kind of took a hiatus from making work after I graduated, felt really discouraged from making work. And it took me about 6 or 7 months to pick up a camera again. And actually, so this picture was made when I was kind of just beginning to leisurely make images again. And it was, this is my friend Grace, and we took a trip down to this house that her father had just bought in St. Simons, and the house is basically just bones, concrete walls, no carpet, no ceiling. Basically, we were squatters in this house, and I brought a whole bunch of film and was with 2 really good friends, and that's how this image was born, essentially. But looking back at this series of work, it was kind of a breakthrough for me because, I kind of sat on the film for a while because, I wasn't expecting much from it. But when I got these developed, I realized that I still had that kind of drive and that spark to keep making work. And, I had taken away sort of a new appreciation for making photos and just enjoying making photos. So that's what this is. This piece is titled Grace Facing the Sea. And this image was made at Driftwood Beach and Jekyll Island. I know that's kind of like a popular place to take photos, but it just, I don't know, this image felt really, really special to me. And yeah, so that's basically it. It's not a super deep story or anything, but it is one of my favorite images that I've made since graduation. And I also did want to mention that there are more images, and they can be seen on my website, www.kennedy, spelled KENEDEE.com. And if you're interested in checking anything out, I have other work on there as well. But yeah, that's about all I have to say, Carl.
Everybody follow Kennedy's lead there. Never be shy about letting people know that they need to be looking at your work. And on that topic, I have to give Kennedy a special shout out that several of the Alcott trippers have done this, and I really wish more of them did. But Kennedy made a special point of staying in touch with the family after that trip and never being shy about asking them questions and finding out things, opportunities that she might be able to take advantage of. And the family says every time the students are up there, stay in touch with us. We're not just we're not just saying this. We really mean it. We want to hear from you, and we want to follow the work that you do. And I think the times that they do, I think it just matters to everybody. And so Eleanor had mentioned earlier that Salinas Aragon from 2019 reached out recently, and she was so sweet to say, do you think I should tell Eleanor, and should I email Eleanor and Kathleen and let them know that this is up there? Do you think they might want to go see? I'm like, they're going to get mad at you if you don't. So you absolutely have to, and then you just did such a wonderful job of that. And
thank you. Yeah, I think I sent like handwritten letters, and I never So, and I also still follow Kathleen on Instagram, and I keep up with what she's doing. So yeah, stay in touch, y'all. It can never hurt, right? They're good people. They're good folks.
Yeah, absolutely. And the image here is beautiful, Kennedy. I'm going to go to your site and check out the rest of them.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I dropped the link in the chat too for everybody.
Yeah, and I think on social media I saw a handful of these that you were posting. So so I've gotten a little glimpse into them, but just really, really lovely work.
Yeah, thank you. I also Tyler's not here, and I know that he kind of sent Matthew a little blurb, but if y'all want me to do it, I can do it, because I have prepared a speech about Tyler as well.
So Kennedy, pretend that you're Tyler now.
All right. So hi, my name is Tyler. No, I'm just kidding. So Tyler is Tyler recently graduated. Actually, I think that he finished his education at SCAD this past quarter. So winter quarter, 2021. I forgot. I'm sorry. I've been graduated for so long. I forgot how the system works. But yeah, so this piece is from a series consisting of 12 masks that Tyler handmade. So Tyler spent all of his time in quarantine making these really intricate handmade masks, made from paper, made from 3D printing, all kinds of stuff. And this image is like one of my personal favorite images. And I'm glad that it is shown in this show, because Tyler is just like, I cannot speak highly enough of Tyler, but yeah, Tyler wanted me to mention to y'all that you can view the rest of this series on their website, www.tylerjudson.com. And I mean, Matthew, if you have anything to add, that would be great. But that's all Tyler asked me to say.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kennedy, for representing Tyler, and of course, for showing us your work.
Okay. Have a good night, everybody.
I don't know. Is Nam Kim in the house?
I saw Nam.
Are you in here, Nam?
Nam had her painting behind her too. There she is.
Yes.
Hey, Nam. Good to see you. So Nam is BFA in painting. Was it 2020 BFA?
2020 spring. Yes.
Awesome. Well, Nam has some phenomenal work, very versatile artist. I had the pleasure of working with her in the kind of her senior year show. And tell us a little bit about what we're seeing today, Nam.
Okay. So, hi, everyone. I'm Nam Kim. I graduated with a BFA in painting in the spring of 2020. I am so honored to have the opportunity to start my professional career as an artist with this exhibition and Friends of Jean. The title of this painting is Huddling. I used acrylic paint on a 40-inch by 40-inch canvas. From a distance, one might see the painting as a flower, but in fact, they are penguins, huddling to protect one another. I try to simplify the subjects and present them in a cuter way. I enjoy painting their footsteps to show their movement and the passage of time. I explored this painting through an aerial view perspective, simplified shapes, and limited color palettes. I mostly relied on 5 colors this painting: turquoise, black, white, yellow, and orange. I believe my penguin paintings have the power to make people feel better with its brightness and cuteness. I hope it brings encouragement and joy in people during this tough time facing the pandemic. My inspiration changes time to time by my changing interests. Recently, I have focused more on endangered animals because I felt I could somehow relate in terms of a pattern of isolated life since the onset of COVID-19. While researching these animals, I found many inspirational ideas, one of which led to my new series on penguins. After watching a penguin documentary, I came to the realization that their social habits are not that too different from our own. They feel joy and sorrow. When these social animals are unable to engage in social activities, it could lead them into a feeling of isolation or by extension, even death. So I have painted isolated penguins in a series of small works, including this one. Also, I have learned the lesson that we can overcome this crisis through consideration and helping one another, like penguins huddling in the cold. This painting in my series is a message of encouragement and hope, a reminder we can fight through this together. The aerial view perspective ties my work together. I am interested in painting subjects from this perspective because, like many things, including ourselves, we are only a small dot or circle from above. Art for me is one way of happiness. These are confusing times. The situation is getting worse, and we are still threatened by this virus. I think there are a lot of people who have hard time mentally, not only myself. I hope my work will be a medium that will give people suitability during these times or anything in the future. Thank you for taking the time to look through my work. I feel happy to share this simple pleasure with everyone. And if you like my work and feel so inclined, please follow my Instagram at namkim_art. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Nam. Very well said. Very well said. Thank you for sharing that. And I think the work, because you started doing those penguin paintings before the pandemic, and it's eerily prophetic, you know, looking at these groups and really looking at group dynamics and isolation. You're well ahead of your time, but I think your words were very moving and very well composed. Thank you so much.
And Nam, you've recently been doing mural work too, haven't you?
Yes, yes,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I love.
I work for mural studio.
Yeah, because I think that some of the things that you're talking about being uplifting and creating positivity in the environment and communities has spread to that mural work as well. So yes. There's so much of you that I see in all the work. So it's wonderful.
Thank you. And I do design by myself for the mural and then paint that on the wall. So it's very happy.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, next up we have Hassani. Hassani, how are you?
Good.
Good. Hassani, like you've been away from SCAD for a little while. When did you graduate?
I graduated in 2015.
2015. You and Emma just hanging around. That's fantastic.
I think Emma and I went on the trip together.
Yeah, wonderful. So share with us today.
Okay, my name is Hassani Salehi. Primarily a painter, as I mentioned. I graduated in 2015 and I went on the Alcott trip in 2014. And at that time, I mean, the trip was monumental for me. It was my first time being able to really immerse myself in the big city and go to all the renowned museums and galleries. In fact, I remember spending all day at the Met and like maybe having a slight breakfast, maybe a granola bar or something, but not wanting to leave the museum because I was just really thankful for the opportunity. And it meant a lot to me then, and it still means a lot to me now. So the work that I have here is called calabash. So the calabash is a fruit that is, it's pretty significant back home and in other Caribbean islands. It's not typically eaten. It's used for making instruments or bowls or other utensils. And this body of work was really inspired by my own, I'd say, experiences. So I grew up in a 4-generation household on the island of St. Thomas Virgin Islands. So the island has Danish street names, and much of the cuisine I grew up eating was either Latin or African inspired. And I had many friends from neighboring Caribbean islands, and they brought their own culture to St. Thomas. The island itself is really beautiful. It's known for its beaches and its warm weather, but there's also, a spirit of violence and political corruption as well. So while making these works, I was thinking about how all these forces coexist, how a place can be so beautiful, but at the same time, have these really sinister elements. And I was really, forced to marvel at it, and how everyone can have a different experience in one place, and how people can migrate and bring their philosophies and their traditions to a new place, and these ideas are forced to intersect and create something new. So my work deals with that idea. It deals with how malleable our perceptions of ourselves and others are, and by referencing something culturally significant like a fruit, or in other pieces, I reference music and cuisine. I was just really thinking about how malleable our identities are, and how we can, also shift our perceptions of, as I mentioned, ourselves, but others.
And Hassani, you recently had an exhibition of this work, didn't you?
Yes, so this work was shown in Atlanta at Mint Gallery. I was selected to be a Leap Year Fellow. So Mint has a residency program, and they select, I think, 6 or so artists, and they have solo exhibitions throughout the year. So the pieces that you're seeing here are mostly from that exhibition, and they're siblings to the piece that are in the Alcott show now. And I had shown a similar body of work at the SCAD Museum of Art as well.
That's wonderful. I thought I saw the Mint stuff on social media recently, so that's I kind of put it in mind.
Yeah, so this show had closed the day, or opened the day after the SCAD show closed, and it seems like that's how it's been happening a lot recently. But I had shown, if you're talking about something recent, I was recently showing at Westable Gallery in Augusta, Georgia, where I live, and I'm also the teaching artist at the Morris Museum of Art here in Augusta, Georgia. But I will have work back in Atlanta soon, which I'm happy about, because I'm always eager to get back to the city. I'll be showing in the upcoming Atlanta Biennial at the Atlanta Contemporary.
Congratulations, that's a huge deal.
Thank you.
Yeah, wonderful work. So I'm good. Thanks. So you can continue to share those accolades. Those are all wonderful achievements.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sonny, we love hearing about that stuff, because of course, as your faculty, we take full credit for your success. I think it's really amazing. Congratulations on your continued success and your exhibitions. I remember fondly, I had Hassani in a life painting class, if I recall correctly. And much to my academic-minded horror, I saw what he was capable of doing to the human figure with his bold color and his marks. And it's so great to kind of see things, change and evolve for you over time. But yeah, excellent work. And, you're just kind of like a machine. You just keep producing. So keep it up. It looks fantastic.
Thank you.
All right. Gabriella, photo alum, tell us about Kneeling Power. I'm sorry.
Hey guys, can you guys hear me clearly?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry if you hear anything on. I am in a noisy place. But this, well, first let me say, thank you so much for this opportunity to show this work here. It is, I guess, kind of nostalgic being on the Alcott trip, being a part of that group of people that went to New York. I just remember going and meeting family and how warm and open they were to all of us. It was my first time in New York, and I could never stop talking about the trip up to this day. So thank you so much for that. So this particular photograph came out of a project called The Letter, which was built, I would say, probably 2 years ago. And The Letter really talks about showing Black men in a more positive light. So initially, I wanted to do this project to honor the Black men in my life, like my father, people who I would have looked up to. I had no idea that we would go through this entire upheaval of racial injustice following year. And so while I was doing this particular project for my exit show at SCAD, I struggled a bit, you know, just looking at what was happening on the news and, you know, trying to tell the story at the same time. But I was like, this couldn't happen at a more appropriate time. And so I decided to continue sharing the story. And what actually happened is that, you know, COVID-19 was like the thing, and Atlanta was locked down. But I still had to continue my work. So I reached out to one of the men who I photographed previous year and asked him to come to his boxing gym. And so I would go into the gym a couple of times, masked up, gloves on, because, you know, sweat is flying everywhere. And we have this virus that we know nothing about. So when I took this picture, I said, this is the picture. This is definitely the photo, because it brought back memories about Colin Kaepernick, who actually knelt during the US anthem, and how that symbolized resistance against racial injustice and inequality. So this young man is not kneeling for that purpose. He was actually at the gym. They were learning, I think, particular boxing technique, and there were no seats left. So he knelt at the back, and I caught him just at the moment while he was bowing his head. And the light just hit perfectly, outlining him from his head all the way to his leg. And so it was one of the images that I think stuck with me, just because it really emulated the message that I was trying to send. It was also taken during a project that I worked on with Fujifilm. The entire project, The Letter, was picked up by them, I think in May of 2020. And for 2 months, I would post on Instagram pictures relating to the project and, you know, share a bit about what those photos meant. And so I was, you know, ecstatic, of course, working with Fujifilm. But it was just the beginning for the project, because although the US is at the US is what everybody looks at, but racial injustice and inequality is something that we deal with all around the world, including in my small island, Trinidad. And so I really wanted to show Black men in their regular state. I didn't want to put him on a pedestal and say, look, this is a Black man, he's making it for himself. No, I wanted to show that the Black man is a person just like us. Therefore, he deserves that respect, he deserves to be protected, loved, cherished. And so from this particular series, you would see pictures like this in the gym, pictures of a father and his son, pictures of men doing whatever men do. Because a Black man is a man. He's not some, rare species that has appeared on the earth, but he is a man and he should be treated as such.
Yeah, this is just...
Thank you so much for allowing me to share this work. It's very near and dear to my heart. Right now, I'm currently in Trinidad trying to figure out how I can continue.
Well, Gabby, actually, I want to make a recommendation to you. Hassani just did this, and Kennedy, and for herself and for Tyler and Nam as well. If you guys want to use the chat to share your Instagram handle, website, anything at all, so the people who are here as guests can stay in touch with your work, and especially with those of you who have bodies of work that we're just seeing, a single image from. I think it would be really meaningful to be able to see the breadth of the whole thing. So please, all of you, please make sure that you share those links in the chat so they can be picked up.
Sorry, I was on mute. All right, well, this is perhaps what you've all been waiting for. This is a very fun part of the exhibition. As you know, through the Alcott family's great generosity, there are prizes, monetary prizes and awards for our alums, as well as our current trippers and the students from the most recent trips. So there is 3 awards. There is an outstanding alumni, there is a best of show, and then there is a second place. So without further ado, the best of show this year goes to Tate Martinson for the very moving piece, I Love You and Goodbye. Congratulations, Tate. By the way, the certificates that you're seeing will be mailed to you, so you will have physical copies of these as well. But congratulations, Tate, for the best of show. Second place this year goes to Just Call Me Willis for his piece from the Cracking Corona series. I know we talked at great length about this. Another stunning image. I do want to note that the best of show does win a monetary prize of $1,000, and I believe the second place is $500, as is the outstanding alumni.
Actually, Kent, those amounts are actually going to be a little bit larger this year because of that anonymous donation that came in today.
Wow, the night just keeps on giving. That's fantastic. Thank you, Carl. I did not realize that. And then for our outstanding alumni award, Emma Bellews Peace, once again. You're on fire, Emma. Congratulations, Emma. Emma, your piece, Green Situation, was deemed the, among all of the incredible alumni work. I think, this has been a quick hour and a half, just seeing all this amazing work and getting to kind of reconnect with these amazing alums. It's really wonderful to see. And I think your piece was outstanding. So congratulations for that. But let's not kid ourselves. This is just an amazing collection of artists, and the Friends of Gene family just keeps growing, and it's such an amazing thing to be part of. So thank you all, and congratulations to all of our winners. Bravo.
Yeah, big round of applause for everybody. Well, awesome, everybody. So that just about wraps everything up. So I want to thank everybody for coming tonight, our current trippers, our alumni, the family, faculty, guests, parents of SCAD students, from all over the place. I just really, really appreciate you guys showing this support for this amazing, amazing group. So I just want to throw out a few reminders here that this event is being recorded. This is part of the Guests in Gusto programming here at SCAD, and just a little plug for some future programming. So tomorrow at 11 a.m., there's a guest in Gusto with discussing designing a better world with Slash Objects is the company that does work with repurposing and recycling to make all kinds of different products. Really pretty amazing stuff. So there's going to be a discussion with the founder, Ariel Asulin-Lichten, and SCAD architecture professor, Sujian Huang. So it's tomorrow at 11 a.m. So hope you guys can join for that guest in Gusto. And then also just other SCAD signature events, as we see on the screen right here. Next week, we have ATV Fest, so all things film and television. So that's 3 days of workshops, panel discussions, screenings, all kinds of interesting sessions for this signature event. So the website for programming and for purchasing tickets is www.atvfest.com. And then we also have coming up later in the month, Define Art, which is SCAD's focus on all things fine art. So this also is several days of programming with keynote presentations by noted artists, curators, gallery openings, and all kinds of other things related to the world of art today. And that is a long web address that I'm not going to say right now. It's like 3 lines here on my notes. But you guys can actually Google SCAD Define Art 2021, and it'll take you directly to the link to be able to see the full programming for all events, as well as information about how to attend. Again, just want to thank everybody so much for being here. Congratulations again to all of the artists, past, present, and looking forward to the future and the continuation of the Alcott trip, the Friends of Gene, the scholarships, and building the careers and lives of these incredible young artists. So thanks, everybody.